Doing out there today? This is Stefan Jimenez from the RotoBeast team, and I'm here to present you our NFL Week 14 picks. If you're new to the channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below, and please make sure and click the like button as well, as it really helps us out. And if you want to play the actual lineups that we're playing every day, please visit our website here at www.rotobeast.net. So we'll jump right into it. We got a monster 16 games this week, including the Thursday game and the Monday night game. There's some really good spots that we could take advantage of. So quickly, before we jump into the picks, we'll quickly go over some spots that I really like. First and foremost, we will start with New England on the Monday night game going into Miami to face the Dolphins. They have the highest implied total of 29 projected points on the slate. Then we will talk about New Orleans going into Atlanta. This game is going to be an absolute shootout. New Orleans has the second highest implied total on the slate of 27 projected points. Then we have, where are they at? Philadelphia going in to face the Rams. This game has the third highest. The Rams have the third highest implied total of 26 projected points. Then we also got the Chargers going against Washington at home. They have 26 projected points as well, so they're tied with the Rams for the third highest implied total on the slate. And then I really liked Atlanta going against New Orleans at home. They have the fourth highest implied total on the slate, so I like them as well. So those are kind of the top target spots that I'm really going to be looking at. So we'll jump into the picks. We'll start, Tom Brady, he got shut down somewhat last week. He only got 9 points. This was a definite bummer for a lot of people going against a Buffalo defense who hadn't been playing great. But you know what? Tom Brady usually doesn't have two bad games in a row. And he's on Monday Night Football going against Miami. I think he's definitely going to bounce back. And he gives you, for the most part, he gives you a high floor that you want in cash games. The problem with Tom Brady is that he's 9,500, which is a really, really expensive price tag. But if you want safety, somewhat, you definitely can look at him. Then we got Carson Wentz going against the Rams. Carson Wentz, he's been killing this season. He's averaging 21.7, almost 22 fantasy points a game. He has a high ceiling, 32 fantasy points he's already got one time this season. Last game he kind of had a little bit of an off game as far as touchdown wise. He only threw one touchdown where he was on a streak of he threw at least two touchdowns in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. But it was against a tough defense in Seattle. I definitely could see him bouncing back this week. Then we got Alex Smith. I think Alex Smith is going to be chalked, to be honest with you. He's going against the Raiders defense, who just isn't very good. He went off last week. Everybody's going to chase this. He went off for 37 fantasy points. But just look, there was a lot into this. He got 7 yards off a 70-yard, one carry for 70 yards. This is an outlier. He threw for 4 touchdowns. He's not going to throw for 4 touchdowns every week. But, he usually does get you, at least 1 to 2, sometimes 3. 366 yards was a lot. He went off last week, and I think a lot of people are going to chase it. But, at the same time, he could have just been like, my team's struggling. Let me throw him on my back. I think he is in a good spot against the Raiders, and I think he'll probably get around 20 fantasy points. And at an 8.2 price tag, 20 is pretty much value, so you would definitely take that from him. Then we got Rivers at home against Washington. Rivers, he's been pretty solid. He throws a lot. That's what you obviously like in your quarterback. His price tag is 8,000. He's only averaging 17 fantasy points. I think he definitely is more of a GPP play. I would rather find the extra 100 for Alex Smith, but I do like Rivers. And then the last guy I quickly bring up is Jared Goff, 7,700, going against Philadelphia. Philadelphia has a pretty good defense. But you know what, Goff, he's been playing very, very well. I like the young guy. For 7,700, I think he's a solid GPP play. He has at least 16 in 4 of the past 5 games with the high of 28. And yet, so you definitely gotta like the young rookie. I'm sorry, the second year guy. Sorry about that. I was thinking about rookies out there. I was getting ahead of myself. Kamara, this guy. Hey, he's been putting in work. Engram may be out. If Ingram's out, this guy, even though he's 9,200, you might as well just lock him in. Straight up, he's been killing, and I know it's tough to say, hey, he's not going to keep breaking these long runs, but you know what? He keeps doing it, and he's highly involved in the pass game. He's been splitting with Engram, and he still has the monster numbers in the past 5 games. He's got at least 22 fantasy points. If Engram is out, this guy's going to get the workload. I mean, he can have a monster game. So I definitely like him going against Atlanta. Then we got Bell. I mean, Mr. Reliable, price tag down a little bit. He has, at least 22 fantasy points in the last 2. I mean, he's a workhorse. He gets, double-digit targets plus double-digit carries every day. I mean, every game. The problem with him this year is he just hasn't been getting in the end zone the way we've seen in years past. But, Le'Veon Bell, I think, is the best running back in the league, and you definitely got to consider him. Next guy I'm going to talk about is Gordon. I mean, he's just getting the workload. He's getting catches. He's getting 20 carries a game. He's kind of the same thing with Bell. He hasn't really been getting in the end zone, so you're not seeing the monster, numbers from him. But when he does get in the end zone, he's been getting, he's had 30-point games multiple times this year. So definitely like Gordon tomorrow. I'm sorry, on Sunday. We got Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley, I mean, he's getting the crazy usage. He's getting, 18, 19 carries a game for the most part. He's getting 5 to 6 targets. He's making his catches. The guy just has a really, really high floor for your cash games. I think if I had to go between Gordon and Gurley, I would probably go with Gordon against Washington, just because Washington, they've been kind of getting eaten up against running backs lately. But they both are really, really good plays. Then we'll move down a little bit, and we will go with Jamaal Williams against Cleveland. Cleveland, I will note, is a little bit better against the rush than they are against the pass. But the rookie, this guy's been getting, he's been getting massive carries the past 4 games. He's averaging about 20 carries a game, and he's putting in work. He's been getting in the end zone. That's what you gotta like. He's getting some targets out the backfield. I like him. His price is, very, very fair. So definitely take a look at him. Lastly, I will talk about, where is he? Sorry, here, let me just. There we go. Bernard, 5,100. If he starts this week because the rookie Mixon is out with the concussion at 5,100, I mean, I really like him. I think that you could probably consider him in your cash games if Mixon is out. So definitely keep him in mind and monitor the situation this week. All right, so let's jump to wide receivers. Excuse me, sorry, I had to sneeze. All right, so let's jump on the wide receivers. I mean, Antonio Brown, anytime he's on the slate, you gotta consider him. He's on a tear the past 3 games. 20 fantasy points the last game, which is kind of like, oh man, that's all he did compared to the last 2 games. The 2 games before that. Got you 36 and got you 37. So every time he's on the slate, he's one of those guys you just gotta kind of consider, even if it's just for GPP. Hopkins going against the Niners. no matter what quarterback's in there, he's getting double-digit targets. It's crazy. He's making the most of them for the most part. He's been in double digits almost every single game this season, no matter what. So you gotta like him at 8,600. You do want him to kind of get in the end zone and at least get you a 25-point game at his price tag. But he's a solid play. Then we got Allen. He's been on fire. Him and Rivers are killing it right now. He's got at least 10 catches in the past 3 games, 21 fantasy points, 28, 34. Going against a Washington team, I think that it's going to be some more of this. I don't know if he's going to get, the touchdowns. I mean, this is what's really been helping him as well is since he's getting in the end zone. But even if he doesn't get in the end zone right here and he gets 15 points, that's manageable. But at this price tag, you kind of want at least in the 20s. But he's a solid play this week. I think you could definitely consider for cash games. Then we got Thielen. I mean, the guy's just been playing very well. Kind of a down week last week, but before that, I mean, he's been very consistent. 13 fantasy points, 21, 26, 18. He's having a great year. He's having a breakout year going against Carolina. Carolina has a solid defense, but I don't think that, they're really the best defense. I think this game is going to kind of be, going back and forth. So definitely I like Thielen. Then we will talk about Crowder. He's been the main target for Cousins. Cousins likes to throw a lot. He's been very consistent. He's got, in the past 5 games, at least 10 fantasy points in 4 of the past 5. For his price tag, though, you kind of really want at least about, close to 15. I'm going against the Chargers. I think this game is going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be back and forth, a lot of throwing. So I definitely think he can get you close to that. I like Crowder this week. This guy, if there's, you think he's going to play and they come out later that he's probable to play, I think he's almost a must start in your cash game. Price-wise, I mean, 6,400. He's going to be, last time he was with Manning was, this was last week when they started Geno Smith, but with Manning, 13 targets for 11 catches, 142 yards. He had a really good rapport with Manning. Manning's coming back this week, so if he's going to play, definitely lock him in a cash game. He's probably my top wide receiver overall. The last guy I'm going to quickly talk about, a little bit cheaper. Goodwin for the Niners. Going against Houston. Garoppolo's looking good. Last week, Goodwin with Garoppolo completed 8 of 8 targets for 99 yards. That's a really good sign. Goodwin's been playing very well. I like him. His price is going to rise if he continues to, do the quality work, like this with Garoppolo. So definitely take a look at him at 5,700. Quickly, we'll go through tight ends. Kels, man, he kind of bummed me out last week. Even though he got 23, he got 22 in the first 5 minutes of the game, and I'm like, oh, this guy's going to have a monster day, and we're going to get 40 from him. He pretty much didn't do nothing else the rest of the game. He got 1 catch for like 5 yards. It was horrible, but, I mean, he still got 23 at the end of the day. His price is way up there. He's priced, the Gronk price ranges. We're not used to that, but, I mean, he's pretty much their best receiver as far as, catch-wise. The other guy, Hill, he's pretty much more just of a downfield threat, the big plays, and Kelsey's more consistent. And we got Engram with Manning coming back, going against Dallas. Engram, I mean, he's getting massive targets. He's making the most of them for the most part. He's been getting in the end zone this season. I think he's going to have a really good game against the Cowboys, as much as I don't want to say that. We kind of struggle a little bit against tight ends. So definitely take a look at Engram. Then we got Jack Doyle. I mean, this guy, he's been doing solid. He's been kind of up and down, yes, but I mean, I mean, for tight ends, 5,400. If you kind of want consistency, I think he's going to give you at least a floor of, I would say, about 7. So I'm like Jack Doyle going against Buffalo. Now I'm gonna give you my two cheap guys. All right, when these guys go off and you get to pay up elsewhere and take down a tournament, just remember I told you these guys. First, this guy, Seals Jones. He's been out there. In 2 of the past 3 games, he's getting in the end zone. I know that it's an outlier that he's getting in the end zone, but a 18.9 and a 15.2 at 4,500. I mean, just for him to have that, have those, it's kind of like, okay, they're looking for him. And then, last game, he still got 5 targets. He only caught 2 for 44 yards. For 5.4, so you're like, 5.4, but for 4,500, this wouldn't have absolutely killed you. Even if he just got you 8, that would be kind of cool for value for the cheap end. And one more guy that I really, really like. I was just talking about Garoppolo and how he was looking good throwing the ball in his matchup against Houston. So, Stephen Anderson. This guy, for the Texans, so I like, I like both guys. Like I said, I like the last guy that we just spoke about. For the Niners, with Garoppolo, now we got Anderson. Anderson, last game he stepped in when their other tight end, Fideriich or whatever, when he went out for concussion protocol. He got 12 targets, caught 5 of them for 79 yards. And a touchdown for 16.4. It's looking like he's going to start this week because the guy's going to be out with a concussion. So I definitely think that you can go with Anderson, or you can go with, Seals Jones. Sorry, I can't forget his guy. So I like both of these guys. All right. So that's kind of where I'm at. No, quick correction. I'm sorry. I'm over here getting super confused. I was thinking about Garoppolo. I liked him, with the combination with Goodwin. For some reason, I was thinking the other 2 tight ends were from the 49ers. My bad. But, yeah, anyways, hey, that's where I'm at for my football video. If you got questions, you want to talk about anything that I talked about, leave a comment below. And, hey, let's get this money. Have a good weekend.